This forbidden ancient story just shattered everything historians thought they knew about biblical warfare. I'm talking about classified evidence of 9-foot-tall giants that dominated battlefields 3,000 years ago, and the explosive connection between fallen angels, supernatural hybrids, and the origin of demons that religious scholars desperately want to keep hidden. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to expose the most devastating biblical conspiracy ever documented. But warning, this ancient truth will completely revolutionize how you see spiritual warfare forever. What's up, truth seekers and biblical warriors? Have you ever wondered why the story of David and Goliath sounds almost too incredible to believe? Why would ancient texts describe warriors so gigantic that regular soldiers felt like grasshoppers in their presence? Here's the shocking reality that mainstream archaeology refuses to acknowledge. These weren't just tall humans. These were the terrifying descendants of a forbidden union between celestial beings and mortal women, creating a race of supernatural giants that nearly destroyed humanity itself. Today, I'm about to unleash the most explosive biblical secrets ever assembled, including the hidden connection between ancient giants, fallen angels, and the demonic forces that still terrorize our world today. But listen carefully, if you're ready to discover the classified truth that connects biblical history with supernatural warfare, you need to engage with this content immediately. Your attention proves you brave enough to face the devastating reality that most people are too terrified to examine. Here's what religious institutions don't want you to discover about biblical giants. The most famous confrontation in ancient warfare features young David facing the colossal warrior Goliath. But here's the explosive detail most people miss. Goliath wasn't just unusually tall. According to biblical measurements, this monstrous fighter stood approximately 9 feet tall, wore armor weighing 130 pounds, and carried a spear tip alone, weighing 15 pounds. But Goliath represents only the tip of this ancient conspiracy. The biblical texts reveal he belonged to a terrifying lineage called the Rephaim, descendants of an even more shocking group known as the Nephilim. The forbidden origins of these giants trace back to one of the most controversial passages in religious history. The ancient text describes how the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful and took them as wives. From these prohibited unions came the Nephilim beings, described as heroes of old, men of renown. This wasn't just intermarriage between different human tribes. Biblical scholarship reveals that sons of God referred to celestial beings, members of the divine council, supernatural entities serving under the supreme deity. These weren't mortals. These were angelic beings engaging in forbidden relationships with human women. The result? Hybrid offspring combining supernatural strength with human intelligence, creating warriors so powerful they dominated entire regions and terrorized normal humans for generations. Attention, what I'm about to reveal connects ancient biblical texts with archaeological mysteries that scholars cannot explain. The giant problem didn't end with the flood. Despite divine judgment intended to eliminate these hybrid beings, biblical accounts describe their continued presence in the Promised Land. When Moses sent spies to survey Canaan, they returned with terrifying reports. Quote, "The land we explored devours its inhabitants. All the people we saw there are of great stature. We saw the Nephilim there and felt like grasshoppers in their sight." Archaeological evidence supports these accounts. Ancient texts describe giants reaching 3,000 cubits in height. That's approximately 1,500 feet tall. These weren't slightly above average humans. These were colossal beings that defied natural biology. The classified details become even more shocking when we examine non-biblical sources. The Book of Enoch, discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls, provides explosive details about these forbidden unions. According to this ancient text, 200 celestial beings called Watchers descended to earth under their leadership. These Watchers didn't just take human wives. They taught mortals forbidden knowledge, including warfare and supernatural arts previously reserved for celestial beings. The result was an explosion of violence and corruption that nearly destroyed human civilization. The hybrid offspring of these unions grew to monstrous proportions, quickly overwhelming human resources. When normal food supplies became insufficient, these giants began consuming humans themselves, eventually turning cannibalistic and devouring each other. Prepare yourself for the most devastating revelation in this ancient conspiracy. The flood wasn't the end of the giant problem. Multiple ancient sources reveal that these beings survived divine judgment through supernatural means. While their physical bodies perished, their spirits remained active on earth as demonic entities. The Book of Jubilees describes how Noah noticed his descendants being attacked by disembodied spirits of fallen giants. These entities, made of fine substance, could infiltrate human bodies, causing diseases, mental torment, and supernatural possession. When Noah prayed for protection, God imprisoned 9/10 of these demonic spirits, but allowed 1/10 to remain active under their leader. This explains the continued presence of supernatural evil throughout human history. Early Christian scholars connected these fallen giants directly to demonic possession and pagan worship. Justin Martyr, a crucial 2nd century theologian, explained that these angelic transgressors became the very demons that humans mistakenly worshipped as gods in Greek and Roman religions. The shocking connections extend beyond biblical tradition. Ancient Mesopotamian texts describe similar giant heroes, like Gilgamesh, described as 2/3 divine and 1/3 human, measuring nearly 16 feet tall with supernatural strength. Greek mythology contains parallel accounts of titans and heroes born from unions between immortal gods and mortal women. These hybrid beings eventually faced divine judgment through warfare rather than flood, but the pattern remains consistent across cultures. The explosive truth: these aren't separate myths. These represent different cultural memories of the same supernatural catastrophe that nearly destroyed human civilization in prehistoric times. Modern archaeological discoveries continue uncovering evidence that supports these ancient accounts. Megalithic structures worldwide demonstrate construction techniques beyond normal human capability, suggesting involvement of beings with supernatural knowledge and strength. Listen carefully, seekers of forbidden truth. You've just discovered the most explosive biblical conspiracy ever documented. This isn't mythology or ancient folklore. These are historical accounts of supernatural warfare that shaped human civilization and continues influencing our world today. The evidence reveals that biblical giants represented hybrid beings combining celestial genetics with human biology, creating warriors so powerful they dominated ancient battlefields and terrorized entire populations. These beings didn't simply disappear. Their disembodied spirits continue operating as demonic forces, explaining the persistent presence of supernatural evil throughout history. Your immediate action plan: research the primary sources I've referenced today. Examine the Book of Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and early Christian writings about fallen angels and demonic origins. Compare these accounts with archaeological evidence of megalithic construction and oversized skeletal remains discovered worldwide. If this explosive revelation transforms your understanding of biblical history and supernatural warfare, I need to hear about your discoveries. Share your biggest breakthrough in the comments below, and make sure you follow for more proven research that mainstream academia desperately wants to suppress. And if you're absolutely serious about understanding hidden biblical truths, check out my complete Ancient Mysteries research collection in the description. It goes deeper into the archaeological evidence and textual analysis behind these shocking discoveries. Remember this truth: every ancient culture preserved memories of these supernatural beings because they represented real historical events that shaped human civilization. Make today the day you stop accepting sanitized religious teaching and start investigating the devastating truths that changed history forever. Your journey into forbidden knowledge starts now.